Perfect. What is going on, guys? It is your boy Eric of EMFC,
This is Derek of the EMFC.
and we're back. It's Wrestle Chat Podcast on a Thursday. Homa is Matt of EMFC. If you're missing him, he's going to be in the chat. He's has other obligations currently, but he'll chat his ish, give his 2 cents to us, so he'll be around. I would say a pretty eventful week of wrestling. Typically, it does take. I don't know. Like I feel like those last couple weeks before WrestleMania is always where it begins to slow down a little bit. And I think we mentioned in last week's podcast that they need to protect the wrestlers at this point because they don't want them to get injured. But speaking on that topic, I guess we'll see the weekly recap because a lot of things happened in regards to that. Sorry, Friday Night SmackDown. They did take away a lot of previews because a lot of big news is coming up for the next couple of shows. But we'll leave that till after. Derek, do you want to explain SmackDown so I can remember as well?
Shit. I also need to remember, but I do remember the key points that I took away from SmackDown, and then I guess we can fill in the blanks,
Okay.
wherever I think. But key points, um,
I guess transitioning from what I was just saying, where wrestlers need to be protected before WrestleMania
yes.
comes by.
So we'll talk
Unfortunately,
about the main thing. We'll talk
yeah.
about the main thing because that's obviously a huge point. But we came to learn this past week that Kevin Owens is not medically cleared and will not be medically cleared for WrestleMania. Um, uh, they found through some extensive testing and how he's been feeling the last few months that he has a neck injury that requires surgery, and as such, he won't be around for the next little bit, which is a huge blow to WWE.
And from what
And
they were saying,
obviously,
is it could be a lot, a bit, not just little,
yeah.
right?
So the issue, obviously, when it comes to neck injuries, like neck injuries are a lot more serious. Probably like the most serious injury that you can get as a contact sport athlete, right? People could get the surgery and they could go back to living a normal life, but any uh, bumps or any damage that could be taken to the neck going forward could have life-altering impacts. So from what we've seen from like the spoiler sheets, people are speculating that he could be up to 2 years, and I personally am hoping that that isn't the case. But it is one of those things where like Kevin Owens' career overall could be in jeopardy too.
Yeah.
So it's one of
Similar
those
to
things where we'll
Edge.
kind of have to wait and see how the surgery goes, what the prognosis is from the doctor, and how he's feeling kind of during his recovery. But you look at a number of wrestlers in the past history who have been affected by neck injuries who had to retire. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Edge was retired for like 9 years. Daniel Bryan almost retired, well, retired for a number of years with his neck injury. Sheamus, Sting, um, yeah, like the deck is nothing to play with. So um Big E most recently, obviously, he's been out for like the last 2 years and counting.
Like a
Uh
Page.
and Paige as well, yeah. So yeah, the neck injuries is, it's definitely not an injury that you want to hear in a wrestling context, in any context realistically, but in wrestling context, especially since it takes so many bumps. Like it's obviously us at EMFC, the fan base, WWE fan base, internet wrestling community are all wishing for his speedy recovery. And just hoping that he's able to uh pull through with the recovery and that he doesn't get too much into his thoughts, because I think that a lot of people forget when it comes to athletes too, that although we see injuries happen very often across different athletes, and we see the time period it takes for them to return, and we just assume like, all right, cool, yeah, 4 to 6 months they'll be back and they'll be playing and whatever kind of thing. But I
Yeah.
think the mental game that comes along with having to rehab an injury is not fun, right? Especially when you don't know what your future is going to be and how things are looking when you do get back, right? So hopefully he's able to take that all in stride, and we'll see where the future goes with him.
Mhm. It's just disappointing in a way that like not just us as fans like watching wrestling saying, "Hey, you can't make it," especially started this whole rivalry.
Yeah.
Um, and ironically, it's about like trying to like ruin people's careers and break their necks. He was
Break their necks.
literally
Yeah,
paralyzed or trying to paralyze, I guess. He like pile drivered Cody Rhodes.
yeah,
He pile drive Randy Orton, which he's got injured for like the rest
yeah.
of 2024 to 2025. He pile drive or not pile drive. He attacked Sami Zayn's neck when we watched it live here in
Hmm.
Toronto with the two little power bombs onto the ring apron, and now he
Yeah,
actually is in real life injured to his neck.
yeah. To his
It's
neck.
just
Yeah,
it's kind of
and
ironic but very sad because like WrestleMania is the grandest stage of them all. Randy Orton's
yeah,
one of his best friends. Main
yeah.
eventing WrestleMania with him is like a huge thing in general for a career, and just so it to happen like weeks before they're supposed to fight is just probably disappointing for him mentally, as you said as well. So
I think what sucks too is that like I'll say that I think the story going into WrestleMania was the best constructed story this year going into WrestleMania because this was something that they were able to build from like months and months and months. And the payoff was going to come with Randy Orton's return and getting his revenge on Kevin Owens, and the fact that we don't get that see that payout, I know it sucks on both ends. Like I know Owens was very much looking forward to um to being able to kind of complete the story and have this match with Randy Orton. So the fact that he has to miss it definitely sucks. But I think the other thing too is that like with Kevin Owens' heel turn, he was able to bring back the pile driver to WWE. That was something that he was kind of using going forward.
that's
So it's
true.
kind of crappy that we like. I don't think that like pile drivers are gonna be like X going forward. But like the fact that we finally got to see the package pile driver after all these many years in WWE, and right when I feel like that match was or that move was already being protected and was going over, like we don't get to see it anymore
Yeah.
for foreseeable future sucks the big one, right? So
Mhm. It's unfortunate, but yeah, that I guess was the most major. Well, I don't know. I guess yes, it is the most major news coming from SmackDown. I wouldn't necessarily say in story wise it was the biggest. I feel like something else more impactful happened. But if we're gonna continue going through SmackDown, Randy Orton then goes out. He doesn't attack Kevin Owens because obviously that story is kind of over. He doesn't
right,
RKO the GM because he mentions that he won't have a match for WrestleMania, which will probably lead to
yeah,
something pretty cool.
yeah,
Because I think we got on the sheets a couple other
oh,
things for a couple signings, a couple
mhm,
potential opponents that Randy Orton might face.
yeah,
Moving forward, if we're doing some more key points, because I know they did some of the tag team stuff, but I don't. I think it was the Bang Bang Boys, the Machine Guns, Motor City Machine Guns. They beat DIY for the number one
DIY,
contendership, I believe.
yes, yes, they did.
When it comes to the women's championship, it was also a major thing that happened there where
Oh,
last week or sorry,
oh,
technically the week before, Charlotte
oh,
and Tiffany Stratton, she had a little like conversation backstage, almost kind of like a meeting, and it almost looked like they went off script. More so Charlotte because she was very, very, very heavily cooking Tiffany throughout that promo, and I believe we mentioned it last week, where you can see that she was trying to stick to her promo, but Charlotte was having none of that. Same week happens, and Charlotte goes on a talk show discussing finally opening up to her divorce. It's a tricky thing when it comes to divorces in general, and she's mentioned that she wants to keep it more personal. She didn't want everyone to talk about it because she knows that people compare her to her father. And she was like in tears when she was saying this because she said that her father has had many divorces. Her father, I mean, in wrestling wise, won the 16-time championship, so there's like a lot of legacy to come by. But like obviously there's like a lot of negatives that he's brought along the way, right? So she didn't want to be compared to her dad. So she wanted to keep the divorce quiet. She said she's feels like she's failed as a partner, as a significant other in her personal life. She's failed as a professional wrestler because of her injury that she can't perform to the same level as she is, and she was worried that when she comes back that people won't treat her the same or that she won't be the same anymore because she is getting older, of course, right?
Hmm.
and the injury and such. So they go into this promo, and for some reason, Charlotte is still trying to like shoot from the hip. And I feel like maybe they gave Tiffy time this, well, Tiffy time. They gave Tiffy this time to finally shoot her shot in reverse. But like the more Tiffany Stratton was talking, the more it got very personal and kind of like very aggressive, where it gets to the point where she's like, she mentions that she's compared to her father. Um, and that not only is she chasing the same amount of championships, but also the same amount of divorces. How like far is she? 0-3, and it looked like it impacted Charlotte a lot. And like her only comeback was like, "Oh, like Kaiser's in my DMs." But later on, Kaiser was like, "Please don't flatter yourself." You know, it was hard to watch. It was very cringe. It looked like Tiffany Stratton left ahead of time before like she can get a rebuttal in, or if anything could happen in the ring. She held the title backwards, aka the Great Khali style. Um, I don't know. It's just like Meltzer even talked about it, and he always puts his 2 cents. He's like, "Oh, they've been at it for weeks, and they don't like each other, but God knows he watches the program or not." What do you think, Derek? You think this is all a work? You think they're trying to shoot more from the hip to see if it can get more views, or do you think they genuinely just dislike each other and this dream match is becoming a nightmare?
Um, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It really felt like, I don't know. Like to me, like the segment didn't really go over well for me, just because it felt like it felt awkward, right?
Yeah,
So I feel like um it was more of a shoot, but I also feel like even the way that like Tiffany kind of like delivered it, it felt like she practiced this. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
Still didn't feel like a
to
script though.
me, like it didn't feel like a script, but it felt like she had this written down and she was ready. She was ready to like kind of like deliver this kind of thing.
Mm.
But I don't know, the way that it was delivered still felt like it was like her trying to remember everything that she wrote down versus it feeling like it was a genuine like shoot. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so like that, I feel like it kind of took away from me from this whole thing.
Mm.
And on top of the fact that I just didn't really like, like Tiffany definitely needed to get her look back, and I feel like she did get her look back. So people who say that like, oh, Charlotte buried her, like I was like, now people are talking about like, oh my god, like Tiffany ate her kind of thing, right?
Mm.
If it is a shoot, like a real shoot situation, and like they do have like backstage issues, you kind of hope that that doesn't take away from the match that they could potentially perform at WrestleMania, because like people were looking at this as being like a really huge match because of like how talented both of these women are in the ring. Um, but it just feels weird because of like the direction that it's taken, and like to me, like I don't think Tiffany can afford to lose this match, but I also feel like with the way that they're pushing Charlotte for even future feuds that they're teasing already, it doesn't feel like Charlotte's going to lose either. Um, and like yeah, it just felt like, I think Matt had mentioned it in the group chat too, but I think one of the things, because I've mentioned that like how good Charlotte is, but I think the one thing that she still struggles with is being able to control the crowd. And I think that's extremely important to become like a better, well-rounded, all-around performer. Is not only being able to move the crowd with how you move in the ring, but being able to move the crowd on the microphone. And it felt like Charlotte didn't know what to do. And I feel like at this stage of the game, it shouldn't be that way for her.
Mm.
It was hard because like obviously Compare always talks his ish about, oh, Charlotte is just like, oh, she's not even that good, blah 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 blah. And it's like I was hoping that Charlotte would be able to at least like reel it in, and it's like it wasn't even like it was even a UK crowd, so it's like at least you can use the UK crowd as a thing. And they were in Chicago. Chicago is a rowdy crowd for sure, but like like John Cena would have been able to do it. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
like yeah, it just felt like it hurt Charlotte in a lot of ways because it kind of showed where she's lacking still. And And I feel like she was a lot better being able to move and like reel in the crowd with her promos before. So going back to, I guess, her feeling as if like she doesn't know if she'll be the same person. Like I feel like if this was Charlotte 5 years ago, she would have been able to manage the crowd for the response.
Yeah.
Even like, yeah, I would say 5 years ago because I feel like she was probably in her bag when she fought Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. But yeah, now it felt like she was new, right? And it felt like it
Yeah.
really got to her. It felt like it really got to her,
She has
and
like
it's like,
personal baggage that's like outweighing her right now, and I feel like that's just it's just pushing her off, right?
yeah. So I'm hoping that she's able to shake it off, but it's a lot, right? And especially being again, like in the public eye, I talked about this last week. Like everybody knows your business, right? And you're expected as celebrity, as a professional, to be able to just like let it bounce off your shoulders and keep it moving. But like that's
It's
like
hard.
your life that
Mhm.
everyone is talking about. Like the internet is going in. Like she has to see that, right? So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how tomorrow SmackDown goes in regards to the rivalry. But I would say that people who were doubting Tiffany uh are kind of changing their tune about her after last week. So I guess it did what it needed for Tiffany. And like after Charlotte got her licks in, it's good that like Tiffany was able to kind of like stand up and kind of get hers. But yeah, we'll see how things are going moving forward.
Mhm. Yep, should be an interesting little conversation they have tomorrow. I feel like it helped to the point where like now people will start watching more of this rivalry and people care about it
Mhm.
more. And it was all over
Mhm.
the internet, so like TikTok, Instagram, like those videos repeating. So I got the chance to
Yeah.
watch it. When I watched it the first time, I was like, "Oh snap!" But then when I watched it the times afterwards and again and again and again, I was like, it's kind of cringe. Like it's I don't know, it's a little
Yeah,
weird. It
like, it
wasn't
made
the
me
best
feel
promo.
uncomfortable. It
Yeah.
made me feel uncomfortable, like, and that's the thing, typically with these shoot situations, like, I love watching a shoot unfold, especially when it's done well, but,
Mhm.
like, I feel like the few times where it's been with Charlotte, infamously, the belt exchange thing with her and Becky Lynch, like, it felt awkward and uncomfortable and just, like, you don't wanna see that, like, but you do at the same time, and I guess it's, like, you could call it, like, an ugly train wreck type of situation, but, like, it served its purpose, people are talking about it, so
Crazy. But okay. Still not the craziest thing in the nighttime, I feel. Other things that happened, the United States title number one contendership match was happening between uh Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, last man standing match. Fun fact, Braun Strowman has never ever lost a last man standing match. He's been in multiple and he is the king of that match until last night because they had a hell of a fight in the crowd using various weapons, slamming each other through multiple tables. It was really, really cool. By the end of the day, Jacob Fatu smashes him through a table in the corner, gets up first for the 10 count. He's the number one contender. He did it by himself, like he promised Solo he would do, because he told Solo not to get in his business anymore. Him and Tamatonga. And Tamatonga also had a match with LA Knight, which LA Knight swiftly defeated him, of course. It it was interesting because again they did tease the little heel turn between Solo and Jacob Fatu, so we'll see how that leads as well. And then that's pretty much what I remember for the rest of the night in important key moments. Because the last thing was the whole favor. It was in Chicago. CM Punk, big crowd feel in there. Roman Reigns comes out first and he's like, you guys want to know what this favor is? Because I want to know what this favor is. And then that's when CM Punk comes out, gives him a little history lesson with him and Paul Heyman all the way back in the day, and now he wants to claim this favor of having Paul Heyman in his corner, and Roman Reigns will not have his special counsel. Right? Seth
mhm.
Rollins is out there just for jokes, laughing and seeing everything transpire. Pretty much saying "I told you so" to Roman Reigns. Roman, surprisingly to me, because I haven't seen this side of Roman in a while, and I think we discussed it the last couple weeks. Roman seemed like a heel Roman again, where he's like, "No way, you're not gonna leave me. Like you belong to me. I made you relevant. I made you like in the spot you are today. Like it's not like he's like, oh, you're my friend. It's more like you owe me because I own you kind of thing, right? Um, and Paul Heyman finally said no and gets turned on, I guess, in a way, because CM Punk attacks him and Seth just laughs.
Hmm.
So looks like Paul Heyman's going to be in CM Punk's corner from what we see in SmackDown. I guess that leads us to Raw.
Yeah, and yeah, pretty powerful segment.
Mhm.
And again, it showcased a lot because it showed Reigns' vulnerability. It was fulfilling on a promise that Paul Heyman had given to CM Punk like years ago. Um, and it's interesting because like the favor seems so minuscule, yet it's so big in its implications as well, right? Like, 'cause especially with like the amount of things that we had speculated with it, like, oh, like he might try to get himself into the main event, or he might try to get himself a title shot, or whatever kind of thing. But it was more so like a personal thing that like realistically, if he didn't ask for, he could very well have never have gotten, right?
Mhm.
So like it's one of those things where like the favor meant so much because of how personal it is for both Paul Heyman and CM Punk, but also has huge implications of what it could mean for future storylines leading out of this match next week. So, yeah, I think it was really cool.
Mhm. Again, they're continuing it pretty much like every Raw and SmackDown at this point. So now we're at
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw. The night does start out with was it this one or was it SmackDown? I think SmackDown's where CM Punk came out first and he's like, "Where's
Yes.
Roman Reigns?" And he's like, "Roman Reigns is not here." I forgot how Monday Night Raw started.
I don't remember how Monday Night Raw started.
Well, let's go through key moments again while we're at it here. As you guys can see in the picture, Io Sky came out in very revealing clothing, of course, to the shock of a lot of the crowd, I guess. Even like a lot of people, if you guys have seen Santi and his little videos afterwards, he was pretty shooketh as well. He did make some good comments in there where pretty much Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley come out, the title's in the middle of the ring, and then Io Sky comes out. Io Sky is Io Sky is well again
that's crazy.
without the title, but the way they're kind of presenting her is more so like she is the champion, but she's kind of like the third party in this rivalry, right?
Hmm.
It was supposed to be Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Everyone knew it. They added Io Sky in the middle, but kind of like how others have described, like Santi and I guess how we described it as well. Io Sky is becoming a very fan favorite. People respect her. She's very talented. We already knew
Hmm.
this. Her theme song's hard, bro. Um, we wanted this rivalry between Rhea and Bianca, but now as the weeks go by and they're kind of treating her as like the third party, everybody wants Io Sky to retain. They want her to win, and I don't mind that, honestly. Like I feel like Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair can still have their 1v1 match along the way, another WrestleMania. Maybe they string it along to SummerSlam. But Io Sky keeps even in the segments get pushed away. Um, that's why this week Io Sky was kind of like the dominant factor, and she took out all women. It's officially announced as a triple threat fight. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I know we're gonna go get into our predictions next week, but what do you think? Now, what do you think with this whole thing? How it's gonna shake out? Like, it's just
I think
odd.
Yo's gonna retain, but
Think so?
like I think so. But I
Mm.
like how because when this whole thing started, Io was the odd one out. Like people had said, like it's kind of criminal that she's not in a main event match, but people were okay with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Like that seemed like the match that was teased. That seemed like the match that was going to be a thing. And then when she won the world title, it was like, oh, we're having a triple threat. This seems kind of weird, kind of thing, and it feels weird. It's cool because it feels like the fans have kind of, in a way, turned on each of these people, and I've gone back to like supporting them. Like I feel like when this whole thing started, it was like we don't really see how Io fits in, and then when Io won the title, it was like, well, Rhea's got to get involved in some way, shape, or form. And then once she got involved, people were kind of like, "Oh, Rhea's involved." Like it kind of just feels like she just shoehorned her way into this match that should have been Io versus Bianca.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
that they're fully in there, people are like, "Well, Bianca's still trash because her best friend got beaten up," kind of thing. So it's like there's like points where like everyone's just kind of like all for it and like not for it. Like they had a reason to turn against every one of them, and it doesn't like take away from the excitement of the match because people are looking forward to this match because like we know that all three of these guys are going to put on a classic.
Mm,
All three of these women are going to put on a classic, but yeah, it's just very interesting how the dynamic went from like Eo's kind of the odd one out to like now people be like, nah, Io has to win this. Like she has to, and I'd be okay with it honestly. Like Bianca and Rio are both at the top of their game. Io is one of the best women's wrestlers in WWE, and she should be portrayed as that as opposed to being kind of like a side character in a sense, right? So
mhm. Okay. So that was the first major thing. The next one being Gunther coming out and he destroyed Jimmy Uso the week before, which is the intensity that we kind of needed when he busted him open and covered himself with Jimmy's blood, which is crazy. Um, this promo, I didn't expect it to go down the way it did. Jay comes from the crowd. He's not eating, which I guess is a good sign already. But I
mhm.
thought he was gonna enter from like the front entrance. I didn't think it was gonna be like that. Gets in the ring. I thought he was gonna just absolutely kill Gunther, and I feel like maybe that's what they should have done to show that maybe Jay has a chance. He's powerful, or whatever. But it was very, in a way, submissive. He slaps the mic out of Gunther's hand, so it doesn't make Gunther like speak. Um, he pretty much took over, but the promo was just like a little child, like with his face down. Was like, I can't believe you did it. Can't believe you did that stuff. At the end, he kind of saved it, where he's like, I'm gonna kick your ass, pretty much, and I'm gonna do it in front of your family, and I'm gonna make them watch, kind of like how you made my mother go through all this stuff. But then he walked out. But I'm like, you should have killed that man. He killed your brother. He killed your twin. I would have killed that dude. I don't know. What do you think?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved every second of it because, one, the way that he delivered the promo, the no yeets, but it was more so like him trying to hold himself back because he was so cheesed, and that's how I perceived it. And it was more or less like that was the right hand man Jay that I saw during the Bloodline days. Like that was the guy who said like, "Yo, I'm gonna get him." Like like it wasn't about like having fun with the crowd. It was just like, "Yo, like." I gotta take this guy out, I'm gonna get him kind of thing, and like that's just it kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
And I think that the whole idea of him like exercising patience was just kind of like, like I didn't want to get back to that place because like the whole like him being the fun, jovial, eating character was him having like that release from all of the pressures that he felt from being in the bloodline. And it seemed as though like at that point he put himself back in that mindset of like how he was like when he was in the bloodline and how he was just like a killer, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like, it was kind of like, like you're gonna make me go back into that place, and I believe you to have your fun now, but come WrestleMania, like you're gonna see a whole different guy, kind of thing, right? So I liked it, and I think that considering that like every week has been him and Gunther just like having like fights that don't really go anywhere.
Mhm.
Think that the idea that they decided to go the opposite route and have it where they didn't actually go at each other helped the segment a lot more because it didn't feel like it was the same thing that we saw week to week.
Mhm.
But I loved it. I think that they did exactly what I felt like they needed to do to save this rivalry. Uh, Jimmy Uso got killed. Jay Uso showed more or less that like he's more than just like the joking character, and he's like more serious. And now people are like, oh yeah, okay, like okay, cool. Now we're seeing a different element to him that will make us want to kind of see where this goes. I think this should have happened a lot sooner,
Mhm.
but I'm happy that they're at least at this point now. So, and again, like Gunther's reaction was like, because again, it was like the whole thing was just like Gunther kind of felt like Jay was beneath him, and like he didn't really care, and it's just gonna be like a walk in the park. And like the way that he kind of received it was just like he realized like I might have taken things a little bit too far, and now I don't really know what I'm gonna get, kind of thing, right? So
Mhm.
I liked it. I thought it did what it needed to do.
And just in real life aspect, Gunther had an interview because he I mean, it is probably going to be one of the major news we're going to say later, but we'll say it now. Gunther did resign a contract with WWE. In this interview, he says that he asked for one thing from them as well, and that was to have his own tour bus, so he can travel in that tour bus. So that's Gunther's. He has a Gunther bus, I guess. The Gunther
Mhm,
Express is probably what we'll call it.
mhm.
Um, and he discussed also the rivalry that he had. He said he expected a different opponent at WrestleMania, like a John Cena, a Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. He expected like a big wrestler, but he says he was disappointed that it was Jey Uso. But he says he can understand why it was now from like a wrestling aspect, a storyline aspect. Um, but yeah, it's pretty much the rivalry we're getting. We're like, should he be in this position? He is in this position. We'll see how that
Y-
goes.
I like it because I feel like, especially with this new contract extension, I feel like it's very early, but they already see Gunther as being the guy. And I
Okay.
think that's why this rivalry works because having a match against like a Seth Rollins, a John Cena, a Randy Orton, a Goldberg, I feel like although I get like that match is something that we will definitely want to see and we should definitely see. I feel like a match of that magnitude at this point is usually meant for people who need the rub versus people who are established and can use that to get themselves over. The fact that I feel that they've trusted Gunther to be in a main event match with Jey Uso, who is over with the crowd but isn't at that point of superstar as those guys are, I think says a lot as to how they view Gunther as a employee, as a wrestler, right? And I think that to me kind of speaks volumes. On top of the fact that they gave him a tour bus,
Yeah.
because like not everybody gets a tour bus.
No.
Cody Rhodes has a tour bus, and Roman Reigns has a private jet. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's already sitting within like elite company in regards to where he sits position wise in the company. And every time I see this guy talk about his logistics around like wrestling and how he feels about his opponents and his storylines, like it always feels like he always gives like the most solid answer, and it like makes sense and it's something that he truly believes in. So like to me, like that shows that like they consider Gunther to be a huge player for them, for the next like 5 to 10 years.
Mhm.
That's how I kind of view it now more than anything.
Okay. Okay. Now for the rest of Raw, um, I guess it wasn't that major points, but if we could just quickly go by these points, the New Day had a tag team championship match with um Viking Experience. Is all that comes up to my mind. Um, the War Raiders. It ended in DQ, which probably means they're going to be focusing on another match, probably towards WrestleMania.
Nice.
Um, Rey Mysterio and his LWO kind of took on the Creed brothers. Americano was also involved. He won by putting a steel plate in his mask, which was hilarious. It gets to the point where Mysterio goes backstage. He's like, I want a match at WrestleMania, not with Chad Gable, but with El Americano. And he agreed. So there's the classic Rey Mysterio match in between. AJ Styles talked a little bit of ish backstage, and then Karrion Kross comes and cries a little bit. Um, what else happened in the middle? Oh, Bailey fought Lara Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. It was a pretty good bout actually. There's a lot of good
Yeah, it was a
reversals
really
back
good
and
match.
forth. It actually
It was a
made
really
me
good match.
appreciate Lara Valkyria a lot more. The crowd is now cheering for her a little bit more, especially her entrance. It was very surprising. And I just realized Lara Valkyria is a really damn good wrestler. And honestly, maybe actually deserves to be in the spot that she's in currently because that was a lit match
Mm.
and she wins via a roll up. They're also going to be fighting for the tag team championship in a tournament that they're setting up starting tomorrow on SmackDown. And Bailey almost turned on her. She pretty much went away from her. She's like, I'm not going to shake your hand. And then she came back and gave her a hug, anyways. Raise her hand. Speaking about the women's tag team championships, the Judgment Day had a couple conversations backstage, but most importantly, the Intercontinental title match is going to be a fatal four-way between Penta El Cero Miedo, Dominic Mysterio, the champion Braun Breaker, and Fiend. Fiend also teasing that little breakup for Judgment Day is backstage, called pretty much Dom a loser, a bum, that he can never get it done. But he's not the one saying it. That's rumors that other people are saying it. But it's like, I believe in you. As two members in Judgment Day is better than one. And they have a higher chance of bringing that title back home. It doesn't matter who wins, supposedly, anyways. Penta was fighting Dom, and here comes Carlito. Carlito gets spear bomb Braun Breaker to the moon, bro. And one of the greatest spears, probably in wrestling history, maybe in all fighting history. That was fantastic. I've seen it on the score. I've seen it on like different social media platforms, and people were going nuts. They're like, even people who don't even watch wrestling anymore, they remember Goldberg and his spears, and there's like, that's probably one of the best spears they've ever seen in their lives. Crazy that man Braun Breaker is.
So, talk about Penta reminded me of one key part that we forgot for SmackDown last week, and that was Ray Phoenix's debut.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah. So Ray Phoenix debuted on SmackDown against Nathan Frazier. They had a cool bout. Um, Solid way to debut. But yeah, Ray Phoenix. All right, let's go back to Monday Night Raw.
Ray
Yeah,
Phoenix was
Fatal Four
definitely
Way.
lit. He was actually lit. I liked his moves a lot. It's just the guy he was fighting. I just feel like he was trying to get into business with himself. He was like trying to do too much. I feel, and
Nathan Frazier does a lot.
it was ruining the match because he was botching a lot. So, anyways, continue. Monday Night Raw. What else is left? I think that was pretty much the
I
majority of it, right?
think
Besides
that
like
was
the
the
main
majority
event.
of it. Yeah. What was the main event match before the segment? It was
I thought was it. I thought was the spear. Was
it the Spear?
yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was. Okay, so yeah, so then we go to like the main spot where Paul Heyman comes out and basically says that like even though like he's Roman Reigns' special counsel and he's CM Punk's best friend, like he's not choosing sides. And he can support both of them. And then out comes Seth Rollins, who delivers one of the best promos I feel like I have seen in regards to just really putting a lot of context into the match. Basically saying that like, and I love the fact that he brought this call back. I was waiting for Seth Rollins to bring this up, but the fact that like Roman Reigns uses him and he doesn't really care for him, and it's like you were taken out by the bloodline. Roman Reigns was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
He didn't come out to save you. He didn't come out to honor you. This guy came back on his own time, right? And then at the same time, like all this stuff happened, Punk saw it all happen, and he didn't come out to see you either. So like you say that these guys are close to you, but like they don't really have your best interests in mind, kind of thing, right? And then Punk goes, oh not Punk, Rollins goes on to say that like the best thing that he can do is just take himself out of the situation altogether, and just not come out at all, and just like leave it to the three of them.
Mhm.
Uh, but if he won't do it like on his own, then he'll have to take him out forcibly. So he threatens Paul
It
Heyman.
was
CM
teasing a
Punk comes out.
heel turn when he did
Yep.
that. He was more alluding to his stomp, but I was laughing with Seba. We were watching it live. I was like, "Is he gonna take his eyeball out? Go up the staircase? That'd been crazy." But yeah, I was teasing a more sadistic heel Seth Rollins, which I'm down, bro. I'm down for. I'll probably make
Yeah.
the championship like main event caliber matches and rivalries more entertaining now with the evil Seth Rollins. Maybe attacking a Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes. Like I think it'd be pretty cool. Um, One line that was also mentioned when you were talking about like pretty much them not being their friends. CM Punk came to WWE saying that he's not here to make friends, he's here to make money. And I was like, shit, Seth Rollins is in his bag right now. Anyways, continue. CM Punk comes out because he was gonna stomp his head out.
Yeah, CM Punk comes out to save Paul Heyman. They brawl around the ring a little bit, and then Rollins gets upper hand and curb stomps CM Punk. Um, then Paul Heyman goes to CM Punk to try to console him, lines himself perfectly for a curb stomp. Seth Rollins goes for it, but stops like right in front of him, and then leans to him and tells him like that now Paul Heyman holds him a favor because he didn't like stomp his head through the mat, and then he left, which
Very
left
intriguing.
Paul Heyman very distraught. So yeah, it was extremely extremely intriguing. But like the mind games that Seth Rollins is playing right now is is perfect. Like it's again, it's just adding to his character, and I love how he's been portraying himself because it's not like the jokey-ish Joker stuff. Like it just seems
It's
like
more
everything he's
serious.
doing is more serious, but it's more calculated and it's more um like dare I say cerebral.
Oh my god.
It's just been it's like again I saw that promo. It's just like yo, Seth Rollins is in his bag. Like anything that this guy decides to do with this, I'm on board. Like I'm on
Mhm.
board. Like to again having the triple threat situation, it's like one of those things where you're afraid that one of these guys might get lost in the shuffle, and the whole thing with like Punk's favor and Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and the rivalry, and obviously the stuff that Seth Rollins has with the both of them. It felt like it was a big deal, but Seth Rollins like kind of reminded people why he's such a dangerous aspect in this match, and I thought it was great.
Mhm. That was Monday Night Raw. And if you think it's over, it's not over. There's more going on. Let's start with tomorrow's SmackDown because they're just throwing bombs out here. This is the preview for tomorrow. Cody Rhodes is gonna finally return because for the first time, Cody was appearing on Raw and SmackDown, back and forth, back and forth. Cody will be back on Friday Night SmackDown, probably to promote the match a little bit more. Because one of the things I guess was also in the sheets, but it's pretty much announced. John Cena is going to appear on the last Friday Night SmackDown before WrestleMania, the night before. Hopefully that goes a lot better than last time, I guess. Hopefully they make it more intense and more physical and get this rivalry going. There's still no mention of The Rock. Still no mention of Travis Scott. We'll see where this goes. Because I feel like a tribal combat match would probably go in a better way for this kind of match, like a DQ for an older John Cena. But maybe that's just me.
Hmm.
It's just Muse. Ray Phoenix is gonna battle Berto because those Garzas were like, they're not that serious. And then Escobar was just like, no, he seems really damn good. He's like, you guys got to prove that fire within you guys, and you have to beat him. Drew and Damian Priest are going to have another conversation because Damian Priest took pretty much Drew's eye. He was wearing an eye patch last week. And that's it. That's all they have actually promoted for SmackDown. And then when it comes to Raw, they do have another more breaking news. Roman Reigns is going to be on Monday Night Raw to promote his match. Is there a preview for this? That's it. They only have they only have Roman Reigns kind of booked. Oh, there's still
And
more.
that's all we need. And that's all we need. Oh yeah, that's fine.
AJ Styles is gonna call it Karrion Cross or fight. I don't know. That's it.
They're gonna fight. They're gonna fight. Yeah, they have a match.
That's our previews.
And that's all we need.
It's literally all we need. Okay. Do you want to get to grain and salt, or should we go into the sheets?
Let's go to the sheets because I feel like all the grants I had are
We're
I
out of
kind
you.
of.
Sorry, glitch out a little bit, but we're in Matt's dirt sheets without Matt, but we're gonna have to try to carry it ourselves. We already mentioned the whole Roman Reigns thing, the whole John Cena thing appearing next week, which will at least promote their story a little bit more. Something that we were discussing beforehand, before the podcast started. Jim Johnson gets on I don't know, he was on a podcast or he was being interviewed, but Jim Johnson, if you guys don't know, legendary composer of all of the music that you know from WWE, all the bangers from all the theme songs. He says that the theme songs now are not as good as they were before. He said that when he was making theme songs, they were iconic, and you can tell what they were from 2 rooms away in the kitchen, is what he said. But the music now, you don't know who's coming out because they all sound the same thing. And god damn it, he's right. The music they make now is absolute trash. There's some
Hmm.
bangers that CFO made, but like they're not as iconic as what Jim Johnson used to do. And he mentions about like coming back, or he mentions about him being inducted into the Hall of Fame if he ever calls upon him. And he's like, they fired me. He doesn't have like a good experience with WWE. He doesn't like a lot of the people that work there, and he says that he doesn't want to talk to a lot of the people that work there. So he says it would be a great honor to be in the Hall of Fame, or to be brought back, but he doesn't want to work with a lot of them. He got fired, so yeah. Honestly, crazy opinions, but a lot of facts.
It's truth. It's honestly truth. And we've talked about this multiple times in regards to um the theme songs nowadays and how it just kind of feels like it's lacking that feel where you know that this person is like a big deal. I kind of like the emotion and the feeling within the theme songs where like Jim Johnson was able to encapsulate that perfectly with a lot of things that he was able to put together. And a lot of fans have been heavily like going off on Def Rebel and how mediocre their themes have been, and they've had some hits. They've had some hits. I won't take it away from them, but yeah, but the theme song it's such an important thing for wrestlers because it is like the first thing that people hear and recognize when a superstar comes out, right? And the most iconic theme songs like basically make that superstar, right? Like the Glass Shatters was iconic for Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it added to the aura that he had. Right, the "If You Smell" theme added to the aura of The Rock. Triple H's theme adds to his aura. Like these theme songs are things that like have transcended superstars that have become things that you even hear at sporting events nowadays. Right. The theme song is important, right? There's a reason why Cody Rhodes paid to make sure that he had the Downstate Kingdom theme song brought with him, and not like something that was made in house, right? There's a
Yeah.
reason why CM Punk paid why can't I remember the band's name? In Living Color, to use Cult of Personality coming back to WWE, right? Like these things songs are a major part of the personality and the presentation of a superstar, right? And without that and without having something that's like memorable that gets the crowd up, like it doesn't really it hurts the stars, right? That's why I still believe to this day that why DIY is still struggling to kind of get there because like I feel like they're doing all the right things. Like even as heels, I think they've been a lot more interesting to watch. Inside the ring, they're great, but like their theme song sucks.
Yeah.
So like
They just
the
have the
crowd doesn't
character.
really pop for it.
Hmm.
It doesn't. The crowd doesn't pop for it. Whereas like when they had like their old theme song, even when Johnny Gargano had like the old Rebel Heart theme before he switched it up, like when he had that theme, like people
I
popped for
agree.
it. And then like when he changed it, it was like, okay, it's Johnny, I guess, kind of thing, right? So like
Mhm.
it does a huge thing. So I hope that they figure that out. But again, like I said before, Def Rebel hasn't hurt a lot of themes. Like Rhea Ripley's theme, I feel like all the themes that have had like people featured on them have done well. L- but like I feel like just like the generic themes, we'll take some of Jacob Fautus. Jacob Fautus is sick. But yeah, like I feel like they've been lacking in that department.
And Tamatanga.
Tomatogos is really. I like Tomatogos a lot. I feel like his is gonna end
And
up
Solo
playing because
Sokoa.
Solos is
Just the
also
bloodline.
very. Yeah, it's just the Bloodline got 6 themes. But like yeah, like Rhea Ripley's theme is still very good. Who else got newer themes that I guess like work for them? I guess Gunther's theme works, but I still feel like his old theme was better.
I don't know. This new one grew on me, I guess.
The new one's grown on me. I like his new one a lot, but yeah, his classic one was also very cool too. But either way, well, like hopefully, like I'm praying that with the potential new settings that we are going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks, one in particular, they don't change his theme song. I need the classic theme that was done by CFO for this guy, but I feel like we're not going to get it. So we'll see.
What else is in the sheets?
Well, I
Apparently
guess.
Soraya or Paige is supposed to be coming to Evolution. That's if she comes back to WWE. That's the return that supposedly people are rumoring it to be.
Mhm.
And sorry, what were you gonna say, Derek?
We already talked about how Aleister Black is supposed to come back. Oh yeah, we have talked about
Okay,
that, but
that's what
that
we're
was
gonna
the
talk
person
about now.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Randy Orton has mysterious opponent apparently as his matchup at WrestleMania. We've mentioned that
yes.
Rusev would have been a great choice. Aleister Black has been promoted, I believe, from those little vignettes that they've been doing the last couple weeks.
Mhm,
I think that'd be pretty
mhm,
cool. So those are the two
mhm.
major rumors to have a match with Randy Orton. I don't know. I feel like Rusev would probably take the L against Randy, maybe, or maybe they'll cause a rivalry. I feel like Aleister Black would have a match with Randy Orton and win, so he could start his rivalry. Maybe they bring the Howdy Boys back. That's another thing that's been missing. Um, the last couple weeks, maybe that's when they return Uncle Howdy. Who knows? Randy Orton's had history um
Bray Wyatt
with Bray
at
Wyatt.
WrestleMania.
I think
That
that'd
would
be
be
pretty
really
cool.
cool. That'd
They
be
all
that would be
interfere.
full circle. That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Hopefully they keep it a mystery until WrestleMania, and then we see the surprise. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think they're gonna keep it a mystery. I feel like it's gonna be kind of like with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38 when Cody Rhodes came back.
Yeah, well, we knew, but we didn't know. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But another name that was thrown out there, which I don't think it's gonna be a thing, but people are kind of hoping and speculating that Nick Aldis might come out of retirement and do a match with him.
Yeah.
Uh, which I don't think is very necessary. Like I don't think that needs to be a thing. And no disrespect to Nick Aldis slash Magnus, like I loved watching him in TNA, but I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
I'd rather see Aleister Black.
So that was that one. I'm trying to see. Someone was just showing me with AEW. Um, they had an event. I think it was Dynamite, and the son of Taz. I don't know why the name's escaping me now. Remember his name, Derek?
Hook.
Hook. Yes, he got a concussion mid match.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and he threw up in the middle of the
Oh,
ring.
oh.
And then I don't know what kind of match they were having, but the wrestler grabbed him and they gave him a pile driver right after that. After he was throwing up on the floor.
Ooh,
Yeah, it was disgusting. It
that's
was
gross.
gross.
Also, I heard that Pac got injured, which is unfortunate. And that might have been in the same match actually. But
Is it the same match that they slapped Ricochet's head? He's bald.
no, that was, that was a different match. But like I've been singing Ricochet's praises for like the last like few weeks. Like I love what he's been able to create in AEW. Like it's again like I had called that he was gonna be perfectly fine in AEW, but like it's gone even better than I expected it to be.
Well,
But
people are
like
saying the
this
opposite. People
whole
are saying like he's still getting jobbed out and he's still like not as serious as he wanted to be taken, which I can
I
understand. But I'm like, he's also Ricochet.
yeah.
Like, what more are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
I disagree. I disagree. Like I don't think it's a matter of being jobbed out. Like in WWE, he wasn't even involved in like major matches, right?
Mm.
Like he had an Intercontinental Championship run. He was a bigger deal in NXT, but like and he won the North American Championship, but that was essentially it. But like was in a banger with Kenny Omega and Speed Bailey, right? Like he had a banger of a feud with Swerve. Like he has been booked better because he's in the conversation. Whereas like before, I kind of feel like he was just kind of like, oh well, here's this like special attraction. Here's this flippy guy, and now it's like,
Is
oh
this
no, like
flippy guy?
here's like he was like the modern day Rey Mysterio, right? Like before Rey Mysterio had like the big title matches and stuff like that. Like he was just like the here's this masked luchador who's really fast, and we'll give him the cruiserweight championship, and he'll just like have these like matches with these guys. But like I feel like Ricochet's been booked better and has been able to build a cool character that people like and hate. You know what I mean? Like the people are talking about him for more reasons than just his wrestling, and I think that's important. So I think it's a success in my mind.
Okay. Moving forward to the Charlotte story. Like I said before, Dave Meltzer said that he believes that these girls have been beefing in real life for a very long time, the last few weeks, and that they just straight up are shooting from the hip because they hate each other. Charlotte Flair does respond on Twitter to the promo, but not towards Tiffy. She actually responds towards the crowd. Is like, I've only made one lie in that entire promo that I was there that night. Is that calling Chicago fans smart? So pretty much he was calling them
Like,
out for booing them and whatnot. I think I had another one, but it's escaping me now. I don't know. Can you think of anything else in the sheets?
um, no, I think that was like the major. Oh, there's something that I just saw, which I was expecting was probably going to be a thing, but nothing has been said yet. But it was in regards to
Stone
um
Cold. Stone Cold. Stone Cold, appreciate the sub from Johnny. Oh my god. I have to say it's the proper red and yellow. For God's sakes, it's Austin Stone Cold. Stone Cold.
But
34 months. Yep. Appreciate it.
my bad, Derek. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, it's okay. I lost my train of thought. I don't even want to talk anymore, Johnny. You piece of crap. You tub of
maybe
poo.
maybe the rumor is Stone Cold coming back. Who knows? All I know is
Yeah,
he takes pictures with his beer and his chicken, bro. Carries his little
yeah.
chicken around.
But as I was talking about before, in the sheets right now, it is looking, or it is being said that there's a potential that they may be prioritizing the New Day and War Raiders for a WrestleMania match for the tag titles, and they might be moving the Street Profits title match to the SmackDown before, which just put them both on there. Like screw it. Like what are we doing?
See, the thing is
I
here in this situation, like that was the other sheet I was gonna bring up now that you reminded me. Supposedly there's gonna be like a bump ton of matches. I don't know, say 12 or 17 matches uh
like 15 matches apparently.
throughout both nights, which I think is
Yeah.
excessive. As we discussed, I believe Triple H books it properly where he books less matches, but they're longer. And I feel like those provide more importance. WrestleMania is more than one night. It makes sense to have more than one match, but I think 15 is too much. I'm hoping they bring back the pre-show. That way Derek can get preed up and ready to go before the pay-per-view begins. And when we're
Bro, they're
like
gonna be
getting
passed
our
out.
food and our drinks and everything ready before it begins, at least there's something to see instead of just a bunch of blokes talking to each other before that, right? So I'm hoping to keep it. They're probably gonna bring the Royal Battle Royale or whatever it's gonna happen. Another thing that we saw is that the Miz has appeared at every single WrestleMania since WrestleMania 23. He's always been active. The only one he's missed, I believe, is WrestleMania 36, as because of due to injury. This is the only one that he's not booked so far. So we'll see how that goes, or if they add him to that match. But that's longevity, bro. Imagine being booked at
Hmm.
every WrestleMania is crazy.
There was something online that said that he is approaching Undertaker's I guess tenure as a full time performer. Undertaker was a full time performer for 20 years before he started doing part time, and Miz is at 19 years.
Wow, bro. The Miz is actually
Yeah,
old. If you really think about
yeah,
it. Holy
yeah.
smokes.
So it's very crazy to see and look about, but like. I honestly I can't wait until Miz gets inducted into the Hall of Fame because he's the definition of a grinder. To go from where he was at when he first started to where he is now, like yeah, he definitely deserves like all the flowers that he gets if he gets any, because
And
I
to
feel like
get
he's taken
Maurice,
for granted. Oh yeah, jeez, like what a guy.
what a legend, bro. Okay, if we're gonna transition to the grain of salt, I'm gonna have a little salt, bro.
Won't keep saying it. I take it with a grain of salt.
And
If we
for the second week in a row, Eric is
oh,
hijacking my segment with salt that I will probably agree with, and it's gonna come with venom. And so from this point forward,
and we love him.
anything that Eric says
It goes through
is
Derek.
not his fault. It's definitely not my
Oh my, it's
fault.
not my fault. So, just discussing what we're discussing now about the amount of matches that are on the pay per view. If it's actually going to be 15 matches. And this grain of salt is sponsored and kind of supported and pushed by Seba himself, where he's been saying for weeks that a lot of these matches don't deserve to be on the card. And it's a hard grain of salt, and it's a hard pill to take that Triple H has booked these matches to be least or less amount on pay-per-views, but longer matches. Now that they're overbooking a little bit more, especially to the amount of 50 matches, which is a lot. It's kind of going back to like the Vince days where we're like, let's get it over with. Like this WrestleMania is way too long. I don't want both nights to feel that way. I'm hoping like 5 or 6 maybe matches per night, if they're not counting the pre-show matches. But we'll read that
Sorry, Johnny.
afterwards. Good God,
I read it. I read it already, but yeah.
this is great
Continue.
assault. Johnny voicing his opinion in the chat here. of Piper Niven. Anyways, um, yeah, some of these people they feel like they're just crying probably to Triple H, like I want to be on WrestleMania, add me to the card in any way or form. And I'm like, we don't need this, bro. And I know we've seen this. We send a lot of videos online. Let's go through them, shall we? Seba does not like the whole Damian Priest versus
Drew
Drew
McIntyre
McIntyre
match.
thing. He feels like that
Yeah.
match has been put together. I actually am excited for it. I feel like it's two heavyweights battling it out. They've pushed that storyline since Elimination Chamber, but
Yeah.
they're also
Even
kind of
longer.
like a match put together just so they could be on the card because Drew is always focused on the main event. He doesn't have a hatred towards anyone. I've liked the build so far, but I feel like let's go to a build that it's kind of funny, but at the same time, I don't think it should be a WrestleMania match. It's a typical Rey Mysterio match. Rey Mysterio has been put together with El Americano, and it's a match that you can see on any Monday Night Raw. Him and Chad Gable, and here you are. They are put together. I feel like it shouldn't be on the card, even though I love Rey Mysterio. It just feels like a typical Rey Mysterio is going to have to be on the card.
Hmm.
And I know you kind of feel the same way because you keep saying retire already.
Yeah. Honestly, you know what's funny? I've liked what Rey Mysterio's been doing lately.
Oh my god.
Telling him, yeah, ever since he said, "Yo, meet me in a parking lot," I was just like, "Yo, Rey Mysterio's a guy, bro." And I appreciate his longevity, but I agree that I feel that there are a lot of matches that could be settled before WrestleMania. Uh, doesn't really need to be on the card, but at the same time, the reason why I'm okay with everything being on the card is because it is WrestleMania, right? Like this is the show of shows. This is the show that I expect to be a very long show. This is like the Wrestle Kingdom of WWE, right? It's like you expect to kind of see a lot of things come together, but you also kind of want to have a card where it's like every match feels like a banger. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and I talked to BZ about this like earlier this week. There aren't a lot. There are a few matches that I'm like, I know that I'm going to tune in and watch like every second of it. So although like you take Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre's match for example, in regards to the build, I enjoy. I know that once they get to the match, I'm not going to be as attentive on it. Like I'm gonna be on my phone. I'm gonna be looking for the big spots. Um, and like to me, like you would hope that whoever wins this match is probably gonna be involved in the next like title feud. But like to me, like this match doesn't serve a purpose, right? Like it's a grudge match, but it doesn't really feel like it needs to be a grudge match. And the way that they built it makes sense. Like Damian Priest like screwed well, in a way, screwed Drew McIntyre out of being world champion last year, right? Like anytime Drew has kind of had an opportunity to become champion, like Damian Priest was kind of in his way, and not on purpose, but it just so happened incidentally that it was just that. Like when he was having his ongoing issues with CM Punk, like Damian Priest was kind of there too. And it was just wasn't really focused on, right? So it does kind of feel like it's put together in a way that like they kind of just like brought it all together in the Rumble, but like it's not really done in a way where it's like, oh, like I need to see this match. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see a lot of the matches on the card. They don't feel like matches that I need to see. Like I need to see Cena versus Cody. I need to see Seth versus Punk versus Roman.
The women's
I
matches are pretty
honestly,
good, I think, both of them.
I think the women's matches, both women's matches, I think are really good. I think those are really must see. I'm very excited for Naomi and Jade just because
I forgot that
they were
match
able
is
to
even a
get.
thing.
Yeah, the fact that they got a spot on WrestleMania with what they've been able to put together when it wasn't something that I was expecting. I'm excited for it. Like this is Jade's like first major singles match. So there's obviously a lot of pressure there.
I still feel like
And
it's put
Naomi,
together, but like, we expected this rivalry and I wanted this rivalry, but like,
I wasn't expecting it for Mania. I thought it was gonna be like a elimination chamber match to lead to her versus Bianca. But I'm assuming I guess that's gonna be something that'll be set off later in the future, which
yeah, I think it's a
I'm fine
WrestleMania
with that.
match. Here's another couple. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. People are saying it's pretty much Logan Paul versus another like veteran of WWE trying to carry his ass through a match.
Yep.
That's definitely a write off.
That's the write-off.
They're putting the
That's
women's tag team titles. Apparently, they're trying to put that together as well, and that's just
yeah,
to get
that's
Liv
a
Morgan on the card. And like,
yeah, which is unfortunate because Morgan had such a big year, and I feel like for her to kind of be, and having a women's tag team championships obviously means something, but like they haven't really been doing anything with it. So to kind of just be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna fight whoever, and it's like the the teams that we're facing, like there isn't a team on there that I would really care to see fight for the titles at Mania. I think the only thing that would be intriguing would be Lyra and Bailey, with the sheer idea that Bailey might just turn on Lyra at the end of the match.
which should have been
Um,
freaking Becky Lynch, but she's not showing up.
yeah, and if it was Becky Lynch, then there would have been more, I guess, more to this match too. But again, like I just like what the year to Liv Morgan had. I wish that they did a little bit more with her, as opposed to her just kind of being the girl that's instigating Dom and Finn.
Mm.
Um, Speaking of which, the Fatal 4-Way match I am looking forward to as well, just because of the ongoing tension with the Judgment Day, and kind of seeing that. But even still, I feel like Braun. I would have wanted to see Braun in a
1v1
more
match.
high profile match. Yeah, I don't 1v1 match. I don't like multi man matches because I feel like they are a little bit too chaotic. When they're done well, they're done well. But like it's been said online too, a lot of people feel there are way too many multi person matches this year, and I'm inclined to agree. And I feel like it's been done that way to include as many
Kill
people
as many people
on
as
the card as
possible,
possible.
and that's just
Yeah,
our point again. Back to the salt, dude. It's just
yeah.
the people
Which
want to fill it. I don't know, fill the card.
Yeah, and you're not doing an Andre the Giant Battle Memorial, which I think is just like the stupidest thing ever.
I thought they
Anyways,
are.
Uh,
They might
I
do
don't
it.
think they are.
I think
I
they're gonna
mean, if
announce
they
it.
do, like, I don't think it'll be because like the last few years when they've done it on SmackDown. They didn't
You
even do
see,
it at
you have to
Mania,
add
right?
Melo. You have to add freaking the
And
Miz, who
that's the
hasn't
other
had his
thing
WrestleMania
too.
match.
There are a lot of people who I would have loved to see have a WrestleMania match that aren't even on the card at all. Like Sami Zayn's not on the card, Shinsuke Nakamura's on the card, Carmelo Hayes, so far The Miz,
Solo
um,
is not on the card. It's gonna be
Solo's
Jacob
not on the
Fatu
card.
versus LA Knight, which is gonna be a lit match.
Sheamus isn't on the card, which kind of sucks for
Who?
Sheamus. He's on my team. Uh,
He's on my team.
he's on my team. But yeah, and like it feels like it kind of beckons the question like does WWE have too many people on the roster?
I don't know. I feel like they've been good with what they had so far. It's just like some
You know,
people don't deserve it. It's just like honestly, like sometimes you have to be cold hearted. Some people just don't deserve that spot because they didn't get themselves in a position at that point to be booked that way, right? Like let's say Nia Jax, even though she's injured and she was like dominant for the most of the year, she just didn't do anything in this half of the year to warrant a WrestleMania match. Same thing with Liv Morgan. Like she could have been in the background for Dominic or someone else. She is the women's tag team champion, and I'm glad they're going to be adding her for some sort of reason. But like,
yeah, I just
it's still
wish
just like a
it was.
throw together match. It's not an
Yeah,
actual big rivalry that maybe you can fight on Backlash and defend those titles. When did they defend their titles the last couple of weeks or the last couple of months? They haven't really done anything. They won the titles and they say they're the greatest women's tag team champions, but there's no women's tag teams to fight them. So
yeah, and I guess that in itself is a problem. And you build a tag team division by featuring the tag teams on a consistent basis. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance have been a tag team, but they also haven't really had a match in a while. So it's like I'm not really going for them. Maxine and Natalia literally just got through together, and they have been teasing that they were going
they've
to
been teasing
do a
it.
thing together. So like I guess, but like again, like no interest there. Who else do they have? B5 and Michin, like they've been together on TV for a couple of weeks, so but they haven't really been a tag team. So
Mhm.
and then yeah, I think the most intriguing, and then you have Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, who
We haven't been
I
seeing
like.
TV.
We haven't seen them on TV. You know what I mean? So yeah, like doing this whole thing, like it's great that you're kind of bringing these women out now, but like we haven't seen them, and that's where I kind of go back to like, is there too many people? Because at like what point would you feature them in a way that people will care on a consistent basis? You know what I mean? When you have all this other stuff that's going on, but yeah, we will see. But What other matches? Yeah, the Logan Paul AJ Styles match like is a write off. Like I'm not even excited for it. Like I wanted AJ to have something much better, and I know that Logan Paul is really good in the ring, and that's cool and everything. But like I feel that again, like from the Royal Rumble, the whole question was like, who's gonna be stuck with Logan Paul, right? And like it's like they kept on teasing the idea. I was like, he's gonna get stuck with somebody that's just gonna ruin that feud because like no disrespect to Logan Paul, but we rather them be paired with somebody else, right? And AJ wasn't really doing anything. So I guess it works, but like I mean the match will be good, I guess, but like it's not really something I care to see. Like I wouldn't expect AJ's return of being like, oh, I want to be the best I'd ever be, and then him being like, oh, I'm gonna fight Logan Paul. Like I would have rather AJ versus Karrion Kross at WrestleMania, to be honest with you, with the way that Karrion Kross has been getting in his head.
Mhm.
Like I felt like that would have been a better pairing, but Logan Paul is people know who Logan Paul is, so he is gonna bring in an audience, so it makes sense.
And that was my grain of salt. That's all I had. It was a good grain of salt though.
It is. I
We'll
guess the
see.
question is with Logan Paul's streak of bringing out like celebrities for his big matches, do we expect him to bring somebody else for his match with AJ?
I sent it maybe. Speed again. Be pretty cool.
Speed again?
Speed was pretty lit. But no, I don't
I
really
feel
expect
like
much from him.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't get any bigger than Speed, to be honest with you. Like, who else could you bring in that people would be like, oh, sweet, it's this guy. Like, I don't want to see Andrew Schultz.
Maybe a
You
celebrity. I don't
know,
know.
I don't want to see KSI again. It'd be cool if it was Speed again, to be honest.
Mm. Yeah, I think speed would be the peak. All right, should we get into the fantasy?
Sure, sure.
Alrighty, everyone. This is our fantasy. If you guys don't know, here are the rules. Pretty much we all decided, oh my god, that's not it. Pretty much we all decided our teams, 6 active spots, 2 main event spots, 1 mid card spot, 1 woman spot, 1 woman slash mid card spot, 1 tag team spot. Restrictions actually 3 champions now, 2 tag teams maximum per team, and 4 main eventers. We pretty much calculate points on a weekly basis, depending if it's a pay per view week or not. Those are our multipliers. The winner of the week gets 3 points, second place gets 1 point, and last of the week gets 0 points, but they do get a wild card to use for the week after, but not on pay per view weeks, which would be after. That'd be next week. Fortunately, Derek did not get a wild card, even though he was last week, because these are our wild cards. He got no wild card legit twice in a row, so we're like, it's destiny at this point. But we'll see who spins the wheel today.
I had to readjust my points because I realized I didn't put up my points for Rollins and Punk for Monday Night Raw,
Okay.
and I'm a little bit upset.
Oh god. All right, so this is the
Well,
fantasy. This is how it is laid out so far in the last couple weeks that we've played. I am the reigning defending 2-time champion, of course. Matt is the reigning defending 1-time champion. He won last season, and Derek has yet to win. He was very consistent at the beginning. He's falling off a little bit, opposed to Matt, who was falling off a lot at the beginning, but started coming back. Me, on the other hand, I haven't lost a single week, so let's see how that goes. I have 16 points. Derek has 9. Matt has 8. Derek, you need to step it up. Tell me your team.
all right, so Seth Rollins was on SmackDown and Raw. Um, he cut a he was basically in the main event so SmackDown and cut a promo. And also cut a promo on Monday Night Raw, and I think he cut another promo early on in the night. CM Punk also did 2 promos on both shows.
Missed the +3.
Uh,
He stomped CM Punk on Raw.
he stomped. This is pissing me off. I will tell you why afterwards. But got huge points from Jacob Fatu with his last man standing match with Braun Strowman. Got good points from the Motor City Machine Guns, 34 points, and then just a promo from Tiffany and Charlotte. And so I ended off with 137 points. And the reason why I'm pissed is because I had Braun Breaker on my bench, and if I had played Braun Breaker, I would have gotten more points, which will
Tiffy.
clear,
Or Charlotte, I
clearly
guess.
be, yeah, I would have put it in for Charlotte, which definitely would have probably been a difference maker in regards to how the final week went out. But let's look at your
Appearances,
points, shall we?
fierce. Okay. So on my hand, Jey Uso only had one promo, did nothing but cry. Randy did an RKO. He appeared. He didn't even speak in that promo, which is disgusting. Penta won his match, 36 points, not bad. Lara Valkyria won her match, 33 points. So it's just like consistent, like low tier matches. LA Knight won his match because he was in 3 commercials and he did a promo uh, across that span. 51 points. He made fun of Tamatanga. It was hilarious. Liv and Raquel kind of quiet this week, but I don't think the rest of my team did any better for a total of 147 points. So pretty close to Derek. If Derek may have put Broad Breaker, he may have could have passed me. But so far,
I would have passed you.
first and second
I
is where we're at.
Yeah, I counted Braun Breaker's points. He got 12 points because he hit 3 spears and made an appearance.
You would have passed me,
Yeah,
eh?
I would have passed you. I would have passed you. Actually, no, I don't think I would have because it would have been 12 minus 5. So it would have been a 7-point difference. So I got 144. You ended with how much?
47.
Oh, yeah, so it's okay. It's okay. I'll take it. I'll take
Okay.
it.
Let's see how Matt has done. Matt has 0 points on Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes finally didn't appear. Roman only did 1 promo. That definitely disappointed Matt. Ray Phoenix did a lot of work. I don't know if there's many multiplayers. It doesn't say any there. Naomi, I guess they did do things I don't even remember on SmackDown. Bailey had her match, but she did lose. And New Day did their thing for a total of 66 points. Oh
Yikes.
no! Yikes! That's not the best.
Ooh, that's why this guy didn't show up today.
Finn Balor, Dom, Nia Jax, Io Sky, Street Profits. They wouldn't have done a lot of things, but there you go, guys. I am once again the winner of the next week. And I'm just so consistent in here. We add the +3. Derek is back into the points column. We'll give him the +1. So Derek has finally reached double digits. He's at 10 points. I'm at 19 points. And Matt gets to spin the wheel. You get 0 points. So he stays 8. Derek, you get a little bit more separation from Matt at least. Let's spin the wheel. I know Matt's working right now. I'm not sure if he's in here, but he'll probably be hyped after he watches the replay. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Here we go. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. See what he gets, Derek.
All right, let's see.
Oh! The
That is
no
crazy.
wild card. I know he's going to be cheesed. He's going to let me spin the wheel again. Derek, should we let him spin the wheel?
Yeah, we'll give it to him.
Okay, one more time. If he lands on no wild card.
We're taking that off.
Oh, I didn't shuffle it. Ooh, he gets to boost the wrestler's multiplier. Sorry. Yes. So he gets to boost 1 wrestler's multiplier this week to get him bonus points. That may be the difference, actually. May have helped him this week, but there you go. I guess we'll select our teams afterwards. I guess probably on the fly, kind of like what we did last week.
Yeah.
But okay, that's pretty much it. Another podcast done. Again, we'll probably be posting this replay very soon. If you guys missed anything, probably like Matt, who didn't get to see the entire show, we will be posting it on YouTube. We will be back next week. I'll probably maybe stream. I'll try to finish off WWE 2K25 story mode. I'm in the last match. I was too busy because it was taking way too long, especially that War Games match was disgusting.
Oh my god. I still haven't like fully completed that War Games match because like I didn't want to deal with having to like go through the whole thing and then like I won the match but because like one of my guys like pinned before I could do like the super finisher.
Same thing that happened with me, but it was
Yeah,
the busting open part.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You did
that's
finish
like
the rest,
I'll
right?
go back to. No, I actually still on the Street Profits and the Wild Samoans match.
Won't say
I
anything
just
else. All I know is that it's very long, so I had to cut it. So I'm gonna have to finish it another day.
mm,
But yeah, we'll try to finish that soon. I'm gonna be busy with work because I took the WrestleMania weekend off, and I took off my birthday weekend, which is the weekend after. So a lot of weekday um, streams. Sorry, a lot of weekday work. So I don't know if I'm gonna stream, but we shall see. Till then, we'll see you guys next week on the podcast. It's gonna be our opinions on WrestleMania, who we think is gonna win, and gonna have a great time. It's been your boy
yeah.
Eric UFC.
Hopefully we can finish that bracket that Compare put together as well. But yes,
How
this
about
is
that?
Derek, the EMFC, and we're signing off.
Peace.